Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Brunswick's Best, where Lance takes a look at the greatest players in Vikings history. Tonight, spotlighting the players who have worn number 11 for the purple. So, with that, Lance, why don't you lay that list on us?
Right. This week I got more than just one player, so we'll start with that. Our first guy here, like we all know, before I even start, rest in peace, Joe Cap. So with that, we will start out with Mr. Cap. Um, Joe Cap was actually drafted by the Washington Redskins in the 18th round of the 1959 NFL Draft, but the Redskins didn't bother getting into contact with him after the draft concluded. So, Joe ended up spending some time in the Canadian Football League, playing for both the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. In 1967, a rare trade between the CFL and NFL teams was engineered, and Joe Cap was sent from Calgary to Minnesota. With Fran Tarkenton having been traded to the New York Giants, Cap stepped in as a starting quarterback. He was not immediately successful as the team went 3-8-3. Yes, 3 ties in Cap's first season. But in 1968, he led the team to its first ever playoff appearance. In 1969, Cap set a team record for touchdown passes in a game that still stands today, tossing 7 in the game against the Baltimore Colts. He led the Vikings to the Super Bowl that year, which they wound up losing, as we all know, to the Kansas City Chiefs in the final game before the NFL-AFL merger. Cap's contract situation wound up getting a little sticky after that, and just a year after leading the Vikings to the Super Bowl, he found himself playing for the Boston Patriots. With his 3 seasons as a Viking, Cap is 13th in team history in passing yardage and was named to the Pro Bowl in 1969. And for that, Joel Cap, this week you made the list.
May you rest in peace.
Moving along to none other than Whiskey Wade Wilson. The Vikings selected Wade Wilson in the 8th round of the 1981 NFL Draft, and he spent a whopping 11 seasons with Minnesota, playing for the team until 1991. He was primarily a backup until 1987, when he got the opportunity to start 7 games and helped lead the Vikings on their surprising charge to the 1987 NFC Championship game. He wound up getting selected to the Pro Bowl in 1988 and was the starter for the team in 1989 as well. Wilson would wind up sharing the starting job with Rich Gannon in 1990 and 1991 and was released by the Vikings after the 1991 season. Surprisingly, Wilson is 5th all-time in passing yardage for the Vikings, with 12,135 passing yards and 66 passing touchdowns. And for that, Whiskey Wade, you made the list this week.
May he also rest in peace.
Moving along to our final guy, and I'm sure all of you millennial fans and so on all started watching the team when this guy came aboard. And that guy is none other than Mr. Dante Culpepper. Now, Culpepper was selected by the Vikings with the 11th overall pick in the 1999 NFL Draft. After spending his rookie season as the number 3 on the depth chart behind Jeff George and Randall Cunningham, Culpepper was given the keys to the Vikings offense in the year 2000.
In the year 2000.
And he helped to lead the team to an NFC Championship game that year, which we I believe, lost pretty horribly. If I remember.
41 donut. Yeah.
Yep. We won't actually talk about what happened when they got there, but
Right.
he was named a first-team All-Pro in that 2000 season and repeated that feat again in 2004 when he arguably could have been the NFL MVP. He set a single-season record for yardage produced by a quarterback in a season and was second to Peyton Manning in touchdown passes that year. Unfortunately for Mr. Culpepper, he ended up getting his knee wrecked midway through the 2005 season and fell out of favor with new head coach Brad Childress, paving the way for a trade to the Miami Dolphins. For his career, Culpepper is fourth all-time in passing yardage and passing touchdowns, trailing Fran Tarkenton, Tommy Kramer, and Kirk Cousins in both categories. And for that, Dante, you made the list this week. And that, my friends, concludes this week's Brunswick's Best.
All right. Short but sweet. We got 3 on there tonight, and on to number 12 next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you check out the main show this Friday, where we have a couple of special guests joining us. Former Vikings defensive end Mark Mullaney and his brother Ryan Mullaney will both be joining the show. So make sure you tune in for that Friday at 6 p.m. Going to be a good time. We'll talk some Vikings. We'll get some memories from Mark on his playing days, both playing with the Purple People, basically taking over for the Purple People Eaters. Right. Playing under the legendary Bud Grant, and we'll get his opinions on the current stage and the status of the team, and also talk football with his brother Ryan, who is a coach and trainer and works with a lot of collegiate athletes in his own right. So should be some good discussion, so make sure you tune in for that. And with that, you guys have a good evening. We will see you Friday.
Skull.
14. The Vikings got the ball back. Wade Wilson from the shotgun.
They're going all the way for it. Carter is there. Touchdown, Minnesota.
15 seconds to go in the first half. Make it 14. Clock's running. 3rd and 24. Dante takes the snap. A better pass protection scheme this time. Dante rolls out to the right. 5 seconds to go in the first half. Dante fires deep to the left. Moss caught it at the 11, but now he pitches it to Bo Williams. Touchdown!
You gotta be kidding me!